A WWE star has been pulled from all future plans. Plus, WWE are making some commentary changes. And multiple TNA stars, including Joe Hendry, appeared on NXT. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. So on Raw, Michael Cole alluded to Tyler Bate being injured. Tyler himself gave us an update on Instagram, didn't he?
Yes, he shared an update on Instagram saying, and also there's the picture where he's sporting an arm brace as well, and revealed, tore my left pectoral major and tendon off the bone last week at NXT. Surgery yesterday was successful and all has been put back where it belongs. I'll be gone for some time while I recover. Try not to miss me too much. I'm in good spirits and looking forward to seeing you all again soon. Lots of love.
Lots of love, eh? It's gutted that we're not going to see Tyler Bate for a little bit.
I know, and often in NXT, it's easy to get wrapped up in the kind of often very silly characters or storylines that are going on in NXT. Tyler plays up his more whimsical side, I'd say, when he's on NXT as well, but when he's on the main roster, maybe a little bit more serious alongside Pete Dunne. But it's easy to forget that he is one of the most freakishly talented wrestlers to come out of the UK scene, maybe ever. Like, he's fantastic, and he will be a big miss on our screens, I think.
Really big miss. I wonder what Pete Dunne will do in the meantime.
I mean, I would usually, in the case of like a tag team in WWE, when one gets injured, you do think, oh, what's going to happen to the other one? But I'm not too worried about Pete Dunne, just because I think he's already well proven his singles credentials. So hopefully they just take advantage of that, and then we can maybe pick things up with Tyler when he's ready to come back.
From 2 becoming 1 to 2 becoming 3, WWE making some commentary changes, according to the New York Post, with the addition of ESPN's Joe Tessitore.
Yes, or Tessitore. We're not quite certain yet how to pronounce it, but I'm sure we'll learn. I'm sure we'll
you'll
find out.
scold us for getting it wrong.
I know, I'm sure I'll keep on whistling through my teeth, Tom. I don't know what's going on. I'm so sorry, everybody.
You're like Sunshine from Tugs.
I couldn't be on the Raw commentary team.
You could be on the SmackDown commentary team.
I'm sure we'll learn how to pronounce his name when he's on our screens, is what I was trying to say.
So he's joining on Friday night as a commentator, leading a 3-man booth with Corey Graves and Wade Barrett. Now, alongside his WWE stuff, he's also going to remain as ESPN and ABC anchor, where he commentates for college football and the Top Rank Boxing as well. He was one of the first clients of Nick Khan when he worked as a super agent.
A super agent for Nick Khan. Good connections, and it's paid off here with this extra gig for him in WWE, it looks like. He's also said to have a good relationship with Triple H as well, which can't hurt. And Tessitore will begin later this summer, although it's unknown if he, Corey Graves, and Wade Barrett will move to Monday Night Raw or remain on Friday Night SmackDown. But regardless, don't worry, fans of Cole and McAfee, because WWE are planning to keep them together as a 2-man booth. That's according to the New York Post. I'm conflicted on this story, Tom.
Okay.
Because on one hand, if he's good and if he's got credentials in other sports, we can often see that work well in WWE. Everybody loved Mauro Ranallo, or most people loved Mauro Ranallo when he was there, for example, and he had experience in other sports. But I'm really enjoying Corey and Wade.
Yeah, me too.
Are you as well? And you're the man to answer this with commentary experience.
Well, it's just it's a difficult one to jump into when you've done color commentary for so long, and then you move into play-by-play. It's a very different discipline. I think Corey's brilliant at it.
I was surprised because I thought, he's just going to be trying to do his heel shtick. It's going to be too heely in the booth with him and Wade. But instead, no, he's very good at just playing it down the middle, I think.
And it's an interesting one, like you say, when there's some people that come in and they, without the wrestling experience, and they're really solid and they make great waves themselves. I think Mauro, like you said, is the best one. But there's also been a lot that have come in that lead announce position and just haven't got it. And it's difficult because then it kind of drags the whole team down then.
Yeah.
Because especially if they're the lead, you can't really be undermining the lead commentator, so you kind of just have to sort of dumb down with them in those worser cases anyway.
Yeah, Mauro was an exception because he clearly had a big passion for pro wrestling, whereas I think when you go too far the other way, try and make it too slick and too kind of sports-based, then you get people who might sound like, or might never have really done anything like this before and not know as much about wrestling, and that does drag the whole thing down, as you say.
We will keep an eye on that one for you. Wishing best wishes to Joe, who's starting a new gig. SmackDown stars are changing sides. Cedric Alexander was introduced as the newest member of the NXT roster. It came after a meeting that Cedric and the greatest general manager ever, NXT's Ava, Throw him up.
She's kind of bloodline adjacent.
She is bloodline adjacent. Meeting that he had with her set up by the assistant to the greatest general manager ever, Stevie Turner. In a twist, the other assistant to the greatest general manager ever, Robert Stone, actually set up a meeting between Ava and Cedric Alexander's tag partner, Ashante Adonis.
They've both gone for one of the tag team. Because the story going on in NXT at the minute is that both of these assistant GMs are kind of bickering and squabbling over who's the favourite assistant to Ava. It's kind of like the thick of it, but rubbish. But no, it's good. But I am positive about this one, though, because Cedric and Ashante the Adonis, unfortunately, despite all their talents in the ring and everything, weren't really being given much of a shot on the main roster. So I think this is better than nothing, and hopefully this can be the spark that reignites them.
Hopefully so. Good luck to them both. Also, Ava, greatest general manager ever, gave Brooks Jensen another chance. He had a meeting with her and owned the mistakes that he's made recently. He wants to make a fresh start, and when told that he'd be given a second chance in keeping his job, Brooks said, "This is my life, and I'm going to make an impact. I promise you." You can't say the word impact in this climate.
Yeah.
In front of my crab rangoons. You can't say the word impact and not mean what you think it means.
Yeah, we also maybe, I can't quite work it out, but may have gotten the first kind of acknowledgement, no pun intended, of Ava being The Rock's daughter on screen, because
That's true.
Brooks was saying, I feel a lot of pressure as a second generation superstar. He's the son of Bull Buchanan. Great leg drop at WrestleMania 2000.
Yeah.
And a B squared as well under John Cena. And Ava
Recon? Or was he Sniper?
Well, was he one of them in the Truth Commission as well?
Yeah, he was in the Truth Commission as well. Legacy.
And Ava...
He wasn't in Legacy.
No. And then Ava said...
yes, I too am Bull Buchanan's son.
No, she said, I know I can relate to that. And she didn't spell it out. She didn't go like, "You listen here, Paul Buchanan." But she did say, "I know how that feels." And that might have been the first on-screen acknowledgement we've got.
I think it might have been. I like it. In true NXT style, it should have been, "I know what that's like." Pan to the left where there's a big framed photo of The Rock and Ava looks down the camera. Oh, that would have been far better, but they didn't do it.
We have seen Paul Heyman have a sort of clandestine talk with her backstage once, but that was more implicit. This is her verbally acknowledging it, I suppose.
That's it. Either way, Brooks mentioning Impact. Is he going to pop up on Impact?
I think, given that we've seen Tatum Paxley head over to Impact, I think if you look at the men's roster, you could compare where Brooks Jensen is in the pecking order to where Tatum Paxley is. So I think yes.
Exciting. Maybe he answers Jordan Grace's open challenge for the Knockouts title.
Oh,
that
possibly.
could be the thing. That forbidden door, that prohibited portal, whatever you want to call it, that naughty window, was well and truly open last night because we saw the reuniting of a TNA faction in an NXT ring.
We did, all three of them. Following his loss to Obafemi at Heatwave, which means that he can no longer challenge Obafemi for the North American Championship, Wesley was very lost, didn't know what he was going to do next. I thought he might have turned heel because what else is there left for him to do, and he was very despondent, very crushed by this loss. Instead, he talked about possibly walking away from NXT altogether last night, and then he was interrupted by TNA stars and his former stablemates, the Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. All three of them were the Rascals together. Then all kinds of stuff happened, and now Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel are now back in TNA, of course, together, but Wesley's still in NXT. But this was the first time we've seen all three of them together in quite some time, I'd suspect.
It was indeed, and they suggested instead of him leaving NXT, why not Wesley get back with his boys and let's reunite? And they had a big old hug, and it looks as if we've now got an interesting little wrinkle in this WWE TNA crossover. We've now got a faction that consists of TNA guys and an NXT guy.
Oh, yes. Very nice indeed. It looks like their first feud could be with Gallus as well, who took issue backstage with their presence on the show. And I think that's a very nice stylistic matchup, you know, brawling... And I said brawling brutes. That's a different... powerful brawlers versus, you know, these high flyers, these speed merchants, as it were.
So that'll be next week. We're going to get a trios match. Gallus versus the reunited Rascals. But the TNA surprises did not end there. Tricky Williams facing Ethan Page and Sean Spears in the main event and revealing that his mystery tag team partner was none other than Joe Hendry.
Oh, he said his name.
Wild pop for Joe as well.
We saw it teased earlier in the night where Trick's wondering in front of a handily placed TV screen, who's going to be my partner? I think I've got someone in mind. And he walks off screen and then we get the Hendry turn. Sounds like a football trick, doesn't it?
The Hendry turn. Yeah. Hendry even picked up the win.
He did. He got the pinfall, yeah. And that's over a team of 2 main eventers, Sean Spears and Ethan Page, one of whom is now, of course, the NXT champion. So this could spell very big things for Joe Hendry in the future. And even if it doesn't necessarily mean NXT gold in his future, the fact that he's even being presented on this level so immediately has only got to be a good thing.
There is no denying that this is all a good thing. It was earlier in the week that it was reported by Fightful that Hendry is going to be factored in heavily moving forward with this TNA NXT ongoing story and ongoing creative, as they should as well. Joe Hendry, just the hottest prospect in wrestling at the moment, which is wonderful when it's a mate of ours.
Absolutely fantastic, and still very surreal to see.
And very surreal,
but incredibly well deserved. Everybody who knows Joe knows his dedication and how hard he's worked and all that sort of stuff, and his talent, of course, as well, which is very evident. I've been wondering there, just as we've been talking about all these new integrations between TNA and NXT, could we get like a mini Forbidden Door, like an NXT level sort of pay-per-view featuring crossover matches between the two sides?
Like Worlds Collide.
Like a Worlds Collide, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'd love that.
I would as well, actually.
I would love that. If only there was somewhere in the next couple of days that had some kind of Worlds Collide type endeavor with a TNA guy, an active TNA guy facing an ex-WWE guy, maybe. Oh, how about this Saturday at the Walker Dome in Newcastle? Joe Hendry is in Newcastle on Saturday. The hottest prospect in wrestling right now is in Newcastle on Saturday at North Wrestling Thunderstruck 2. The front row and the rows behind it are all sold out.
Oh, fantastic scenes.
But there are still some seats left. Just a few, though. We want this to be the biggest show ever. There's meet and greets with Joe Hendry as well, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big matches as well, not just Joe Hendry versus
Joe Hendry.
Elijah, but also a 4-team TLC match as well.
It's going to be wild.
I'm really scared about that one.
We've got Grado on the show.
Oh.
Grado! Miyu Yamashita is going to be there from Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling.
Yes, she's
facing Lizzie Evo.
I've described her before as like the Rhea Ripley of Tokyo Joshi Pro. She's an ass kicker, so that'll be a very good match. The main event, if you know anything about the British wrestling scene, the big title match, Leon Slater, who's been making global waves in the wrestling at the minute, despite being very young indeed, against his tag team partner, man like Doris, for the North Championship. It's personal, and they're both fantastic wrestlers too, so that's probably the one I'm most excited about.
That's just a slice of what's there. Ali Catch is on the show as well. Ali Catch is going to be competing as well. We've got so much happening in North Wrestling Thunderstruck 2. Saturday at the Walker Dome. If you haven't got a ticket yet, northwrestling.co.uk. The Cultaholic lads will be around enjoying the show. I'll be the one in the ring shouting at people. Yeah. That's kind of how I roll. I would love to see you there and come be a part of North Wrestling. Twitching tonight?
Yes, myself and Owen. Yes, myself and Owen are twitching tonight. Twitch.tv/Cultaholic, an hour earlier than usual. Not 6 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. UK time until 7 p.m. because England kick off at 8 and we want to watch it, and also I think most of the viewership would as well. So we're starting an hour earlier. It's going to be 5 till 7, not 6 till 8.
The Swans flying a touch earlier tonight. And for the latest wrestling news throughout the day, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Fly, Swans, fly.
Oh, that tooth whistle was about, Tom. I'm glad it stopped.